business are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe LaPinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Good afternoon. Thank you. This is You and Your Credit with Remus Bowman, and this is the New Orleans Talk Network. I'd like to say thank you for joining me today. The New Orleans Talk Network and You and Your Credit have been doing this program for quite a while, but we took a little hiatus, and now we're back. But one of the best parts of the whole deal, and I never thought about it until recently, and that's the effect that this show and my advocacy has had on many people. A lot of people, have messages. They'll take you down a certain road, and they serve almost no, very little purpose, but entertainment. Over the weekend, I had an opportunity to spend some time with a guy that I've known since the 80s. He's an older guy just like me, a little overweight as well. But I remember a few years ago, I want to say months, but it was years, I was over at Toyota working in the used car department, and he had been living in Atlanta for quite a while. And so he contacted me, and when he contacted me, I was glad to hear from him, glad to see him, and he wanted to buy a car. Now, at this time, his credit scores were not very good. But we sit down and we counsel with him for a little while, and we talk with him for a couple of days, and then we work with him for a number of years. And just the other day, he called me out of the blue. I get this phone call, and he says, Remus, he says, man, I got this. I was trying to get a copy of the title for my car that I had done in a bankruptcy sometime back, and I need to sell the car. I need to get rid of the car, and because now I have a brand new Toyota Highlander. I think it's a Highlander that he purchased, 2019. So, ran his credit. His credit was impeccable. This deal from Atlanta, where he bought this other car, was still on his credit by hook or by crook, primarily because the original lender sold his account to a collection agency. Now, here's the thing, and this is something I had to think about over the weekend, because a lot of times when in working with credit scenarios, our number one objective is to remove the information off our credit reports, and so we can get get good scores. But in the big scheme of things, when you're dealing with something like automobiles or homes and situations like that, those debts they can go away from your credit report, but they don't completely go away, because at the end of the day, you still have to take possession of the title to that property. So as a result, the lien holder kind of has a hook in your mouth, because you think, well, it's over 7 years, it shouldn't be on my credit report. So what is it that they can come back and talk to me about? What is it that I'm going to need to do in order to free myself from this obligation. I've gotten it removed off my credit report in most cases. So what is it that I've got to do to get this removed off my credit report? Now, in this particular instance, because it was over 7 years, well over 7 years, and a credit reporting, the original lender had sold it to a collection agency. Now it's up to you to do business with that collection agency. But the thing that most people are not aware of is that, number one, the original lender probably, well, I'm sure they wrote it off as a bad debt. So they got tax considerations on the bottom line for this account. And when they sold it over to the collection agency, they sold it over for pennies on a dollar. In other words, collection agencies buy large amounts of debt from larger companies, maybe paying less than $100 for that deed or control of the deed. And as a result, anything that they get from you is money that they would not have normally gotten under most circumstances, because most cars are not going to be around in 10 or 15 years. The percentages just don't hold out. So they're taking a gamble that the car is still going to be around and that you're at some point going to want to sell the car, and then you're going to have to come back and deal with them. So they're just holding something, that's kind of like a sleeping giant, because if you've maintained this vehicle in a satisfactory condition and it's still movable and it still runs great, now it's going to be, it's going to have a greater value. Whereas if the car is, falling apart, it's at the junkyard and being sold for parts, now it has no value at all, virtually. But if you need to change the title, now here's where the catch comes in. Now the collection agency, they're holding this debt, and it's just sitting there, and it's just waiting for an opportunity to pay off. It's like walking into a casino and sitting on a machine, and you're putting dollars in, and you keep pulling the level, and you're saying, when is this thing gonna hit? I know it's gonna hit. Well, that's what's gonna happen with my friend, is that he's going to. I pulled up the information from him because we were able to pull up his credit reports, and I gave him the phone number for the collection agency, and I also gave him the phone number for the original debtor. Again, as I said a moment ago, what he may not be aware of is how ridiculously low the original collection agency, when they purchased the debt, hell, they may have only paid $50 or $100 for this debt. But the vehicle's worth about $3,000 retail. So, but it all depends on what you offer. If you offer this collection agency a couple $100, they may just take it, because that's a couple $100 more than they originally anticipated getting because of the time of the debt. Because the debt, they can't sue you, they can't take you to court because it's the statute of limitations has expired. So there's absolutely nothing they could really do other than to wait their opportunity to take a bite off the apple. So, as a matter of fact, he called me first thing this morning, and I was, it's kind of interesting because whenever I talk to someone, and it's something that's a little different, I spend a little bit more time thinking about it. And the reason why I think about it is because I have all this information. And so we want to play back a lot of different scenarios. So we come up with the best scenario that's gonna fit this particular situation. And again, let me just say, this guy right now, when I ran this report, my head did one of these because he was a 700 Beacon score. But again, this debt's from doing Katrina. I believe it was from 2006. So that means that's 13 years Plus, he paid the car note for a number of years until he found himself in bankruptcy, and now he's given himself a second opportunity, and as a result, that opportunity is paying off for him. A lot of people in today's society, in today's world, are taking jobs with like Uber and Lyft and that kind of thing. Now, that which is great. It's a great opportunity. I mean, most people just want to be in charge of their time, in charge of their how they spend their time because they want to spend time with their kids, or not want to work a lot of hours, and they may not have as large of as greater financial obligations as others do. So as a result, they can just kind of get in where they fit in, and they set their own table for how much money they actually need to make every week, and as a result, these type of jobs fit in properly for them. But again, as I said a moment ago, we're working hard for you, Rudy. And it's good talking to you. We will be calling you very soon with a little more information on what you can do on this situation. Normally, I talk about youandyourcredit.us. Youandyourcredit.us, that's our website. And the reason why we talk so much about it is because I don't think I've been able to convey just how much information is on this website. If you go to, there's a section, if you press the button, it says improve your credit. If you press that button, a lot of people have, they don't realize what the rules are, what the laws are, and why is it that all these people are saying, well, you can improve your credit and get lower credit scores, and and give yourself a second chance. And then you say, wow, how do I do that? Now, you do that by, you can read the information. This information comes under what's known as the Fair Credit Reporting Act of 1970. And of course, the Fair Credit Reporting Act has been revised a number of times over the years, 74, 77. And, there's certain laws that have been on the books for a number of years that pretty much guarantee that you get an opportunity to give yourself a fresh start. That's why you got people such as our great president, Mr. Trump, who have been able to file bankruptcy so many different times because he's working himself under those laws, under the laws that give you opportunity to rekindle your opportunity to start over. Starting over can be really fantastic. I know people that have been able to improve their credit scores, going from 350 to 400 scores to 700 and 800 scores, and now here we go. They, and you have conversations with them, and it's almost like they go, "Shh, we don't want to tell nobody. I don't want nobody to know." But here's the thing: everybody goes through difficulty in life. And that's the biggest deal. The biggest deal is we all fall down, and it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up. Michael Jordan said it's not it's not the shots that you take. You don't miss the shot that you don't miss the shots that you don't take. So if you don't take any shots, if you don't give yourself an opportunity, then you never have an opportunity to know whether or not you qualify for a second chance. Whether or not, it's a well-known fact that somewhere around 70 to 80% of all the information that's being reported in our credit files have flaws in it. They're not correct. There's opportunities there for you to have information that may be incorrectly filed, removed from your credit report. But because we're creatures of habit, and we have a tendency not to really want to go down the rabbit hole because it's a little dark down there. So we really don't know what we're gonna. It's like if I open this box, something's gonna jump out on me. And I may not like it. But if I open this box and there's an opportunity for me to start over, think about it. I know people. As a matter of fact, there's someone in my, one of my kids, within the last year to 2 years, her income is virtually tripled. People go to college, they get degrees, and then they work on masters and PhDs. But here's the thing. So when you've accomplished that, that objective, you had to pay a certain price, in order to get there. You had to work very hard to get there. But if you didn't, once you did it and you got there, what's waiting for you? Is there an opportunity waiting for you to live at the standard that, that your education and hard work is making available to you? Or are you going to hold on to the past or not even take a look, not even see if a fresh opportunity is available for you? This is You and Your Credit, our first break. We're going to be right back.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, I'm Remus Bowman. I'd like to invite you to join me every Monday at 12 o'clock. We're going to provide information for you that's going to give you the opportunity to feel confident in whatever it is that you need. When you have a good credit score, you can get whatever you want at a low price, low interest rates, and that's the way it is. That's You and Your Credit on Mondays at 12 o'clock. I'll see you then. We're back. Now, here's the thing. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman, and we're back to talking about youandyourcredit.us, about our website, about all the great information that you'll find. Sometimes we've got to do a little research. We'd like to know what's really going on. What's going to give us an opportunity to, sometimes we feel helpless, and so because we're feeling kind of helpless, and the situation seems to have gotten out of control. It's beyond what we can reasonably work with. We have no idea what we can do to overcome these situations. You know, I spent a lot of years in the automobile business, and I can tell you that the numbers never lie. The number of people that, especially in the inner city, that would walk into the dealership knowing that their credit was in trouble. But here's the thing. We had times like this where people were receiving their income tax money. So instead of getting a copy of the credit report, evaluating what they could do on the credit report to improve their credit scores, instead of doing that, before they walked into a car dealership and bought a car to buy something, or wanted to buy a house or change homes. But instead of doing that, it was, we like to take, the course of least resistance. So it seems easier because you got $3,000 to $5,000 in your pocket today. You just got this, this income tax check, and it seems easier to walk into it. And you need a car. You definitely hoopty, man. This thing here, summer's coming up. It's been winter. The air conditioner don't blow cold. The heater don't work. So we definitely need a car. But here's the thing. Here's the challenge. Do you know if you can take a shortcut and improve your credit scores before you walk into a car dealership? Or do you just want to go in there and give them your whole income tax check? There's a lot of young people who walk into car dealerships every day, and they've saved their money, or they got money from school, and they decided hey, I go to school, I'm doing all the right things. I want to buy a car. I deserve the opportunity to drive an automobile, or I deserve the opportunity to get an apartment. Now, or to have some credit. Smart money would be to get a prepaid credit card and start establishing a credit file. That would be an intelligent thing to do. While you're still in school, or before you start college, or if you're 18 years old, we have a card that we represent. The bank's called Progressive, and we also have another card that we represent on our homepage. It says Credit Rebuilder Card. Credit Builder Card. Now, if you go to the Credit Builder Card, you can start a credit card for as little as $200. It's a prepaid card. And this company, with this particular card, will notify the credit reporting agencies up to 6 times a month. So that means that every time you make a payment on this card, they will notify the credit bureau. So that kind of creates a chain effect, because 35% of your credit reporting. 35% of your credit, your credit score is based on your payment history. So if your payment history is, even though you're young, and I tell people this all the time. This is what bad advice, what good advice can help you, and bad advice can lead you astray. If you don't establish a credit score, if a lot of people have gone through different credit repair agencies and wiped out everything that was on their credit cards. On their credit reports. So if you've done that and you got zeros, then it's just the same difference as having bad credit and having zeros, because it's still bad credit, because you have not established a payment history. So here's the thing. if you go in and you get a prepaid card, you keep it for 30 to 60 days, then you'll start developing a score. Whereas if you don't have any credit, so some people think, well, my score is a 0, and I've seen people wait 7 years until everything falls. Well, everything should be falling off. That's not that big of a deal because you have no score. If you don't have any score over a period of 2 years, then when the lender looks at your account to approve it for credit for credit on an automobile or any other forms of credit, they don't have anything to judge what your ability is to pay other than your word of mouth. And most computers don't take that. And a lot of people are not aware that when you walk into a car dealership and you apply for an automobile loan, and the guy in the finance company, in the finance office, when he submits that application, he's submitting that application to a bank. But the first order of business for that bank is that application goes directly into a computer system that checks all your information and approves or disapproves of the loan. Now, what happens is if you fit the certain categories, then you get in and out. I've seen people walk in and out of dealerships in less than an hour. Waiting on the car to get clean. Sign, go. If you qualify. Now, if you don't do the work and you don't know whether you qualify or not, that's kind of up to you. So here's the thing: on our website, we have two different areas where you can get credit reports. Now, sometimes where it says the free credit report on the website, that one's just a little more difficult to maneuver. I've been finding that some people, even though it's just a form, and it has to match up with the information that's already there, because you got to realize these computers know all your history. You might get when you fill out this form, it might come back and say, well, which street did you live on? And what city did you live in? What's your mama's maiden name? What was your first car? And you say to yourself, wow, why is this important to this computer? You got to realize that they're asking you these questions primarily because if you can't answer the questions, more than likely, it may not be you. So they're asking you these questions so as to protect, the integrity of the information. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that they're giving your credit history to you. So they ask you some crazy questions. And I've been noticing a lot of people going on the website and they may have tried the free credit report and they weren't able to get it processed. So as a result, they just gave up. But what they didn't realize, what most people don't realize, is that there's a second. We have 3 different companies that are national companies that we can get free credit reports through, and we don't advertise the companies because our objective is to lead you to you and your credit, so that we can get you going in the right direction. But as soon as you press the button, guess what is going to come up? The name of the credit of the company that's providing the report. One of the names is Identity IQ. They've been around for quite a long time. They're a great company. And the other name is My Free Credit Score Now. So My Free Credit Score Now is if you go on that one where it says free, it's a little bit more complicated to process. And we've been noticing people going on that link and not being able to get their reports. But if you go on the second link, which is right after now, right below where it says free credit reports, there's a area there where it says fill out this form for free consultation. If whether you have your credit report or not, if you go in and you fill out this information, there it is right there. If you go in and you fill out this information and you check the box, then guess what happens? I get an email. It comes directly to me, and within a very short time, you'll get a phone call. And we'll be able to walk you through and answer all the questions for you, along with giving you information that you'll be able to look at the same time. You know, a lot of times, if when you call certain companies, we're not gonna give any advertising today, but when you call certain companies, there's a lot of companies that's out there that can provide similar services. But when you call those companies, they don't provide an opportunity for you to actually look at your credit report. We do. We provide opportunity for you to look at the credit report, and we help you while looking at it to make decisions on how you're going to acquire that 700 Beacon score. It's time for our second break. It's You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. We'll be right back.
New show. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
You deserve a second chance. One of my good friends that we worked with about, 4 years ago, the big thing that she told me was, and she says this frequently when I talk to her, she says, Mr. Remus, I have options. You know, having a good credit score gives you options. You know, you have an option to make a decision to purchase a home. You have options to get a new car. Unfortunately, a lot of times we, because we're afraid to see what's behind that box, what's behind door number one, we make decisions not to follow through. So as a result, we don't know whether we qualify or not. Now, as I said earlier, one of the reasons why you would want to go to the credit reporting that we use is because the company that most people are using, Credit Karma, only provides Experian and Equifax. But if you're not looking at all three reports, there's a very good chance that the information that you need that's making a difference on your credit score might be on that third report. But because you haven't seen it, you don't know if it's there or not. And here's the thing: we have it's a little bit of a trick, but here's what's going on now. A lot of collection agencies, because they know that most people are not seeing the information on their credit report because they're not going to the third report. They're only going to those two. So what happens is they'll file information on that third reporting agency, and you don't even know it's there. But all of a sudden, your credit scores are starting to dwindle. They're starting to go down. And the reason why they're starting to go down is because you may not see that information on the credit report, but it's having an effect on your credit score. So if you don't if you don't know what's on that third report and it's having an effect on your credit score, it's showing that you're missing these payments every month, that you don't know that this information, and in some cases, this could be information that's aged, that's over 7 years. I saw some information that was being reported on the third report the other day that was on an account that was over 7 years old. So if you don't know what's on the third reporting agency, then here's what happens. The information is there. You don't know it's there. It's having an adverse, because remember what I said. 35% of your credit score is based on your payment history. So now you've got an account that's on your credit report that you don't know is there, and it's having an adverse effect on your credit history, and you don't even know it's there. You haven't even found it. Now, if you go to You and Your Credit, you'll be able to pull up all three credit reports, and the information is free. So what's stopping you? It's free. I like that commercial. It says free. The information is free. You have a free trial for up to 7 days. So if you decide that you want to, it's also a part of a great company you may have heard of. This one's on My Free Credit Score, but what they actually provide is an opportunity. Number one, to get all three scores. Number two, you can manage your credit scores, and there's ways that you can put the information in where they'll give you ideas on how to improve your scores. Not just talking to me or guys like me, but actually learning for yourself on how to improve your score. And again, this guy, he went from 400 or 500 all the way up to 700. Just found out, man, when I saw that credit report, my eyes did this. I'm like, man, you did a great job. Now, he's not the first person that I've seen that's been able to do that. He's one of many people that's been able to do it. And again, if someone is trying to steal your information, because it's also a credit monitoring program, so if they get information on that third, then see, that's something you don't realize. Credit Karma, if you have those two, but something that goes on that third report, and they don't send you a notice on the third report because they don't monitor it. So their relationship with the third reporting agency is not there. But the information's still there. And I promise you that if you want the information on TransUnion, you can get it, for free. All three. TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, free. So, you don't have to keep it. We'd like to have you as a customer for our monitoring service because that helps you to avoid your information being stolen, someone else charging a purchase in your name. A lot of these purchases are done over the internet. So what happens is people will go on the internet once they get your information, and it's their business to steal your identity. It's their business to drive a car with your, using your credit. And there are many instances where people will put you on as a co-purchaser on a credit report, and you have absolutely no idea it's there. None. You got fake identification. People walking into car dealerships buying cars. Yeah, people walking into mortgage and loan companies making loans in other people's names without you actually knowing about it. So when that information does become available to you, what are you going to do? Whereas if you have a monitoring service from the get-go, you'll know what's going on, and you can avoid the pitfalls of life because it's that guy's job to give you a bill that you don't even know that you had. There's so many things that can happen in life that can cause you to endure a bad credit report, bad health, losing a job, loss of a spouse, illness of a spouse or a child. So many things that can happen. Personally, I can attest to that because over the last couple of years, I've gone through some difficulties myself. In fact, this weekend, I just found out that a close relative of mine passed away, and I wasn't made aware of it until it was almost too late because I'd already scheduled myself to be someplace else, and a lot of times when you have obligations and you're in business, you have to do what you commit to doing, whether it's number one on your list or not. But it was like the everything had happened before I was even made aware of the situation. Just that way, man. Just that way. We've been doing this show now for about 5 years. We've seen quite a number of people that have been able to improve their credit scores, and we'd like to, of course, do a better job. So if you have opportunity to, in your comment section on Facebook, and you'd like to send me a message or like to give me a call, or if you'd like an opportunity to be on the show, to convey the information that you'd like to share with everyone regarding situations that's occurred in your life, I'm going to open the door for you to do that right now. You can Facebook me, tag me, email me, or you can call me because my phone number is right there. Today was the first time I've actually left my phone at home. It's so hard to believe. I couldn't believe I did that. I live maybe about 30 miles from the station, and I was already on the interstate. I was already on the bridge in the middle of the Mississippi River. and I could, and someone said, why don't you call XYZ? And I started looking around for my phone. I'm like, wow, there's a first time for everything. So unfortunately, I had an opportunity where I actually left my phone. I know exactly where it's at, because I remember sitting it down. But these things happen, and that's the whole point. Bad things happen to good people. They happen all the time. But again, remember this: it's not how many times you get knocked down; it's how many times you get back up. And I think that a major thing that will really change a lot of people's perspective or situation would be to go to the website and get a prepaid card. If you do that, then you'll start establishing good credit. If you've cleaned all the information off your credit report and you start making payment, start improving your credit history, then you'll be able to, in 30, 60, and 90 days, you'll be able to walk into a dealership and buy a car. It's time for our third and final break, but when I come back, I'm going to talk about trading out of hoopties. I kind of saved that, for the last break, but this is something that's very important that a lot of people have been forced in the situation where they bought cars based on their credit report, their credit scores. They were able to buy cars because they needed transportation. Unfortunately, bought cars that were flower pots. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. Time for our break. We'll be right back.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Well, what's up, everybody? This is boy Coach Hurricane here. You can follow me on Facebook at Henry Singleton or on Twitter at HenryHayoU15.
Listen, this is your boy Fred. Listen, you can follow me on Facebook at Brandon Fred Jones, or you can follow me on Twitter at BFredJones.
This is Jeremiah Gray, man, with G Sports. You can follow me on Facebook, Jeremiah Gray, AKG, and on Twitter, G_paid-in-full-08.
Pay me the money! money.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
We're back. Now, before I left, I referred to automobile as a flower pot. Let's think about this. So, here's what you did. You got your income tax. You walked into a car dealership to buy a car, and the guy gave you, or the person gave you an opportunity to buy a car that was a piece of junk. And the reason why I say it was a piece of junk, it may have looked okay when you first bought it, but it was a little rough. But it solved the problem. But here's the thing. What you did is you signed an agreement. Number one, you gave up $2,000 to $4,000 as a down payment on a car that was probably worth less than $1,000. You drove this car for less than 6 months, and you signed a contract that you would pay notes up to 5 or 6 years on a vehicle that is really kind of sitting in your yard, and you're looking at it. And the transmission's out, the engine's out, but, for whatever reason, the car doesn't really run. It's not a safe car for you to drive anymore. I can't tell you how many times I know that this has happened to people because I spent most of my life in the automobile business. So as a result, I was not going to recommend to a customer of mine that they bought a car that was in this type of condition. Anybody who knows me that have ever done business with me know that I have a reputation for being a good guy who took care of his customers. And I really never wanted my customers to have adversity. I wanted them to be happy because they would oftentimes bring their friends or family members. Mothers would bring their sons, and to buy cars from me because I made sure that they were buying something that was worthy of the time that they were spending. But not all salespeople are cut of this cloth. So as a result, because there's a need, and sometimes we feel like somebody's taking advantage of us, and we are being taken advantage of in some cases, but the person who's actually taking advantage of us is ourselves, because we're not doing what we're supposed to do in order to put ourselves in a situation where we can actually get a good value for our time and money. So you're making yourself a victim by not doing the work. I can't even talk, come to get close to the number of people that I've said, hey man, I would not spend my money on that. I can't even get close to the number of people I've told people to just let's straighten this out, let's tweak this, and see me in about 30 days, and we'll get you in a nice car. I've had people who've gone from 400 beacon scores to 660 in less than 30 days, and a little bit more than 30 days. It's unreal. But if you don't do the work, then nothing's going to change. The first thing I would do, if I'm in a process or if I can foresee myself buying a car sometime in the near future, if buying a car for you is something that you intend to do sometime in the next 3 to 4 to 6 months or even next year, the first thing I would do is I will go to youandyourcredit.us. I will get a copy of my free credit report, and I would plan how I was going to improve my credit or get my credit in a situation where I could get the best bang for my buck. Just the other day, I saw an advertisement from Volkswagen, and that advertisement was great for the average person. It's just no money down, sign and drive. Think about it. This could be you. But here's the deal. You got to have a certain credit score in order to qualify. And if you do, walk in and sign and drive. How do you know that you can't be the next person to put yourself in a situation that you'll be able to walk into a car dealership and sign and drive? It happens every day. But it only happens for people who actually go out and do the work. youandyourcredit.us, youandyourcredit.us, free credit reports, information on the Federal Trade Commission, opportunity to get prepaid cards. We have a great opportunity for you. And it doesn't cost anything to check the score out. To check out the website. That's youandyourcredit.us, youandyourcredit.us, or even youandyourcredit.net. We used to have the .com, and somehow somebody bought it from us. I mean, bought it from the company that we have purchased the websites from, and which happens. You know, it's strictly business. But again, if you could see yourself in a position where you're going to be buying a car soon, do yourself a favor. You know, you don't have any credit. You don't have any credit scores. Get a prepaid card. $200, $300. It'll be the best money you ever spent. You'll walk into a car dealership, you would have had established credit. If you have a situation where you need information taken off your credit report and you don't know what it is, go to our free credit report, put your information in, get a copy of your credit report. I promise you it'll be the best time you've ever spent in your life. It's time for the show to end. This is You and Your Credit on the New Orleans Talk Network. I hope that you'll do the things that it takes for you to get a better credit score. I'm telling you, the opportunity is yours. You just have to take advantage of it. Have a great day.